All right, you guys, welcome back to the channel. Now, today, apparently, YouTube really doesn't want you to see this re-upload. I had uploaded it, had it scheduled. It was pre-checked for copyright and everything else. It was cleared for a replay, and that was supposed to be today's show. Then a few hours later, YouTube banned it worldwide. So what you're going to see now was banned worldwide. Now, how are we going to be able to watch it today live? Well, I will be pausing it every 4 or 5 seconds, and hopefully we can, get around the algorithm, because it is fair use. So there's nothing wrong with playing back a movie, but the trick is getting it past the copyright detection. So that's what we're going to do today. So what are we about to watch? Well, we are about to watch this film from 2007, which was obviously pre-COVID-19, and it's called The Invasion. And this was a remake of the original Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And as you can see, it stars Nicole Kidman, Daniel Craig, better known as 007. And the whole film is about mandatory shots and how aliens infiltrate humanity's mind, body, and soul through this mandatory vaccination program. It's unbelievable. And essentially, what happens is the aliens come in and infiltrate our own government. They infiltrate the CDC, and they come up with this mandatory program that everyone has to get. And the program is called Taking the Step. Taking the Step. Now, in this decode you're going to see, we actually identified this step as an actual scientific term describing something in your body, a protein. And when this protein is not present in your body, when it's stripped away from your body, it causes nervous system disorders, similar to what we saw in the side effects of a particular something. Now, I'll let the decode speak for itself, and I'll be pausing this frequently so that we, fall under fair use. And hopefully today's show will publish. Now, why are we talking about this now? Well, over the last several days, Trump is set to try to distance himself from his Frankenstein creation, now saying it's all the pharmaceutical company's fault, saying, literally admitting that it killed people, namely children. And so let's get started with The Invasion. Now, I decoded this years ago. I can't remember how long ago we decoded this. Many of you remember, probably 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, I want to say. But now it feels like all the years are starting to run together. But remember, nothing is what it seems. It was lies from the beginning of the It. First, they told us it was 99% effective. Then it was 95%. Then it was completely safe and effective, as they tried to hide the damage and gaslight those of us who tried to say it was happening. Then they said there were no rare events. Then all of a sudden there were rare events, which of course would make it not completely safe and effective. Then they started going with this risk reward thing. Oh, well, there might be rare events, but you got to balance the risk with the reward. Then all of a sudden there were all kinds of different kinds of rare events. And I'm saying rare events facetiously because we all know. All you have to do is look around. Then we realized that the events weren't so rare. And then they doubled down and they said, give it to our kids. And now here we are. And Trump is literally about to say that he says 25 children, but I believe there are far more. Now, why didn't people listen to us in 2020? I bet they wish they had. Let's get started. Wow. Well, before we get into today's decode, here are the headlines. I'm going to skip the headlines because we're here to look at the decode. Let's keep going past here. These are old headlines anyway, from whatever year this was. Ooh, let's see when this came out. This will be able to tell us because we can look at the date on this headline here. Oh, it doesn't say. Okay, let's get to the decode here. Sorry about that, you guys. Fast forwarding through this. Now, again, I apologize, but I'm going to have to I'm going to have to, skip through some of this. Of the invasion. Wait, so let's get into this. But who am I, right? So let's get into this final decode of the invasion. Now, this was a 2007 film that predicted everything that we're going through right now. Mass vaccinations. People standing in line for shots and then having their DNA replaced by emotionless aliens. Now, here's where things get really weird, because in the film, everything that is happening now is happening in the film. And it's crazy because it's black folks who are the most skeptical of this jab in the film. And they tell Nicole Kidman to show no emotion, not to sweat. And gives her advice and tells her you can pass as a converted alien human by simply not showing emotion. Now, later in the show, we are going to talk about what it means to take the step. What is take the step? Well, this was a prominent ad campaign in the film in which they're trying to brainwash people into getting the shot. And the ad campaign is take the step. Well, we figured it out. Now, more of the backdrop of this movie. This organism comes from a crashed space shuttle, and the debris hits the Earth and spreads this virus, and it quickly begins infecting man. Now, I'm going to interrupt myself here back in 2025 because you're going to hear me speaking kind of weird. That's to get around the algorithms, because you weren't allowed to talk about certain subjects when all this was going down. You got your channel deleted or whatever, so I was using code words, so I called it a virus. Now, things have seemed to have gotten better recently, but we'll see. Let's keep watching here. Mankind. Now, it's interesting because there's another series on TV called Debris, which has exactly the same plot line. Is this a mistake? I think not. Let's say hi to you guys. Good morning. But let's get back into this. Then we're going to cover 2 trailers that I did. This one we had to put on the backup channel because they came after us on this one. So there was this organism, and it's crazy because the organism even looks like the CV19 spike protein. Let's play some of this so I can show you this. This is off the rails.
Calm down. You can fool them, but you gotta calm down.
Wow. You can fool them, but you gotta calm down. She's on the subway, and the black folks know first, which is exactly what happened in our scenario. So here are the black folks here, and they're onto it. And it's interesting because both people that try to give her advice are African American. That's exactly what's happening right now, you guys.
Don't show emotion. You're sweating.
Then he says, you're sweating. They don't like that. They'll know.
They don't do that. They'll know. Now go away from here. Then they can't tell who's who.
John.
And his girlfriend or wife or whatever is obviously concerned for him because he's spilling the beans.
Stay calm.
What is it? Our biotechs are in full meltdown mode. This is a highly resilient organism.
Highly resilient organism. Biotechs are in full meltdown mode.
Able to survive the bitter cold of space and the searing heat of re-entry.
The bitter cold of space and searing re-entry. Are you starting to see the pattern here? This is exactly what's going on with the new alien Earth. Remember, the aliens can survive the bitter conditions of space. So it's obvious to me that eventually this fictitious space organism will be the fall guy for whatever comes upon humanity, but really it was made right here on Earth. And there it is. There's the spike protein. It looks exactly like the CV. Now, I know all spike proteins look the same, but isn't it interesting that this is what they show here? With high levels of calcium dipcolinate.
Initial cellular diagnostics show it exhibits monoploid characteristics, both commonalities to an endospore.
An endospore. Okay, let's keep watching here.
Spore? Jesus.
So they show this thing, and wow. I can probably zoom in on this. Oh, there it goes. So here's the zoomed in spike protein. Wow. They call it an endospore. Should probably mute this music. Soundtrack's not good either.
One thing's for sure, it ain't from around here.
We should walk to school every morning.
Now, this is Nicole Kidman. She's walking with her son, and he's dressed as, are you ready for this?
You wouldn't say that if it was raining.
There are the twins. Remember, this is all about twinning, okay? We've been saying this from the beginning. The 66 number, the Gemini president. Remember, Trump wasn't even president yet. They're already signaling a bunch of this stuff. As it's Halloween, obviously. And these twin, I think these are nuns.
Don't worry.
Run by, there they are. And the boy is dressed as Superman. Who has been saying he's Superman over and over again? Donald Trump. Now, we talked all about twinning and how there's been a twin birth explosion that emerged out of the CV-19 spamdemic. It's on the news. They're saying that now all of a sudden all these twins are being born, and we predicted that would happen. And so, of course, they're going to show you the twins here. And we also talked at length about the serpent in the chest, which is demon possession. It's basically the infecting of the host body. This can be more easily done when the flesh is cloned or is inbred with the blue bloodline. That's why Superman has a blue costume. And so the little boy dresses up as Superman. There's the twin nuns, I guess these are, maybe.
But what if it rains tonight?
I checked the weather report, 45 and clear. No rain.
45 and clear. President 45. Wow.
Go on, Superman. Half an hour.
Superman. Again, apologies for all the pausing. This is what we have to do. Blame YouTube, you guys. Can't even cover something under fair balance. Wow.
One,
Fair use.
Superman.
So here are it's Halloween, obviously, and there's his friends or whatever. Aliens, skeletons and stuff. Keep watching.
Each year, the flu claims tens of thousands of American lives.
Each year, the flu claims tens of thousands of American lives. So what they're basically, it's hidden in the flu shot. Wow.
Studies show this new virus is more communicable.
So this guy up on the stage with the CDC or whatever pharmaceutical company is actually an alien, and he's scaring people into getting vaccinated. Unbelievable. Let's rewind that a little bit.
Thousands of American lives.
Studies show this new virus is more communicable.
Studies show this virus is more communicable. Now, if they nab this, I'm pausing this every 3 or 4 seconds, you guys. And I know it's annoying. And if they nab this, then you will know the agenda. You will know that they are trying to hide this movie from you, because they never do this. Normally, I get away with about 9 seconds. That's kind of the magic number. As long as you don't play more than 9 seconds, you can play anything, and they won't pick it up, because that's fair use.
And lasts longer than more common strains of flu.
It lasts longer and more common. Lasts longer than more common strains of flu. Huh, does that sound familiar? This is pretty exact, you guys. So all of these clips that you're seeing right here are all from this film. I want to be very clear, because sometimes we interweave these different clips into the montages, but in this particular instance, these are all from the film. And so it's weird, because this is exactly what we're going through right now.
You'd figure with numbers like these, the government would realize that we are facing nothing less than a national medical emergency.
A national medical emergency. Remember this? This is what they kept telling us. Let's keep watching.
The CDC has begun emergency meetings today to decide how to contain it and keep it from getting any worse.
Then you see the NASDAQ at 47. That's Trump's second term. So we had 45 and 47. This was back in 2007. Then they talk about all the strains. Remember, they kept giving us new strains, Omicron, Delcadon, Walkadon, whatever the Don.
This flu season could be the deadliest in 30 years.
Then they scared everybody. This could be the deadliest in 30 years. Now, here's the truth. If you want to know, if you really care. Remember, YouTube started taking away thumbs up and thumbs down or thumbs down because their own people that they put on their own platform were getting so many thumbs down that they could no longer control the narrative. Well, this decode we did only had 25 thumbs down out of 1.5 thousand thumbs up. Just so you know that what you're looking at isn't some kind of a hoax. Let's keep watching.
We think an inoculation program.
We think that an inoculation program,
Is our best shot at
is our best shot at keeping this thing under our thumb. Ooh, we have even more clues, don't we? Trump's thumb.
this under our thumb.
Now, this guy is an alien, and he's acting like a human, and he's standing in front of a bunch of pharmaceutical companies, and he's going to bid out the production of the vaccine. All right, and this woman asks, she's one of the pharmaceutical companies, how is it that you barely identified this thing and you're already coming out with a vaccine? Whoa, mind blown. Let's keep listening. This is exactly what's happening right now.
I wish there were more time to go over all of these.
This guy's like, I wish there was more time to go over everything. And he's like, no, we got to get this done now. Warp speed.
Science and the internal processes behind this project.
Now, these aliens vomit in the coffee to infect all the people in the room. Now, what is the inference there? Well, obviously, the people in the room are concerned about how quickly this thing came to market, right? So we know, or most of us suspect, that the very people that were telling us to go and get it were not getting it themselves, right? They were just pretending to get it themselves. Well, this vomiting in the coffee with the strain would go around that, right? So they're going to get it anyways.
I'm curious. If you just cracked this new virus, how are you ready with vaccines so quickly?
If you just identified the virus, how are you ready with the V's so quickly?
How are you ready with vaccines so quickly? How are you?
Because it's warp speed.
Ready with vaccines so quickly?
If you require more information, I'd suggest you
There they are vomiting in the coffee.
bow out of this round of contracts and give us some time to prepare your facts.
So he threatens them. Oh, okay. If you don't believe us, then you can bow out of this round of contracts. So it's threats. And they're like, they want the money. So they're like, okay, we'll do it.
Just a question.
Well, we like those. We like questions. They got you to the moon.
Whoa, they got you to the moon asking questions. So then, of course, Trump comes out with the Artemis program to quote unquote get us back to the moon, which of course is never coming to fruition. And while we spent another several $billion in tax money. So obviously that's a reference to the moon hoax. Whoa, right? And we all believe that because people love questions. And as long as you give them an answer, they'll believe the answer. Now behind them, his alien counterparts, who are the servers serving the coffee, vomit into the coffee and they infect all the people at the meeting so they can be mind controlled as well. That's simply disgusting. Now let's keep watching here. Let me check in with you guys to make sure that we didn't get thrown off the air. Wow. Okay, it looks good so far. No warnings. So we're doing good so far. Thanks for bearing with me on this, you guys. We got to get through this. This video needs to get out to everybody.
Sorry to bother you so late. I need to ask you a few questions.
So this guy's obviously already taken over by the aliens. And guess who he works for? Guess who the aliens Guess what they tell him to do? He's now the census department, going door to door to make sure everybody got the it. And he can tell because he can see if they have any emotions.
For the census department?
Now this part's creepy because here you get the census worker aspect to all this. Now we are currently in the midst of a census. This is what I call time markers in a film. Whoa. Back to 2025. Trump's talking about doing another census to account for the illegals, right? He's like, we need to do a proper census so that we know if how many people are illegals or not that are voting. Unbelievable. When these older films, you'll get this time marker that marks a point in time in the future from when the film was released. They're foretelling a future event, and they mark the time in history in the future when the event will take place with a specific event that's coming up. In this instance, it's the census, which is happening right now.
I haven't heard from her. Maybe it's that flu going around.
I keep mentioning the flu. Yeah, okay. That's good. Okay, let's keep going. Of course, the whole backdrop of this is the flu, right?
I'll call her.
We're doing a census of your district this month, not the extended
district. Kind of sounds like the Hunger Games district, right? Not the extended paper census, but a quick door-to-door version to update our records.
Paper census, but a quick door-to-door version to update our records.
These are also spent cells, exploded actually.
So, hemorrhaging cells. Remember, a lot of people are getting internal bleeding and things like that. Strokes, bleeding.
Viral light, but larger than any virus known.
At this time of night?
Deadline. We're working all night now. You're my last house.
Wow. Now this guy will now barge through the door and, attack her because he knows that she's not infected yet. So he wants to infect her. And the way they infect humans, if they don't take the step or take the shot, they vomit in their face.
I saw your light. I came a few times.
You can ask me through the door.
Now he knows that if she's infected, she would let him in, right? So he's already like, oh, she's not infected yet. Oh my gosh.
I tried to destroy some. Heated them up, see when they'd incinerate.
Now, this guy's a scientist, and he's trying to heat up the... now, if you didn't recognize this guy, he's from Westworld. He plays an android from Westworld, and I think that's the same guy. Anyway, he says, I heated them up to see if they'd incinerate. Took them up to 700 degrees.
Took them up to 700 degrees.
Whoa, the guy barges in. Holy smokes. Okay, let's keep watching.
They survived. Well, that's impossible. Yeah.
There's Daniel Craig, 007. He's, I think he's a scientist too in the film. And he and Nicole Kidman are some of the last survivors, and they're running and they're trying to stay awake because if you go to sleep, that they can get you that way too, through the air. Bust in through the door, and let's keep watching here.
They settled on an interesting hypothesis that what we're dealing with is a complete intelligent entity.
A complete intelligent entity, the dimension of a few cells.
The dimensions of only a few cells that's invading people's bodies, integrating their DNA.
Integrating DNA. Integrating their DNA.
Integration of alien DNA could look like anything.
Or not.
Could look like anything, or it could look like nothing. How would you know, right? Could only be a few strands of, a few proteins in the DNA strand. You never know. Could look like anything or nothing at all. Why are they trying so hard for everybody on the planet to get this jab?
And reprogramming their genetic expression overnight.
Reprogramming their genetic expression.
Reprogramming?
Reprogramming. And then she says, how? How would that look?
How would that look?
Well, 80% of what we are and what we do is determined by our genetic expression. Also in Japan. But here, just talking about this flu.
And it's all surrounding the flu. This is pretty exact, isn't it?
say that this is showing up all over?
It's starting to. They began considering epidemic protocols in Europe.
They began considering epidemic protocols in Europe last night.
Last night.
People are dying. What are you really covering, huh?
So this is her ex-husband, and she's like, what are you really covering up? Remember, he was the guy that was at the front trying to get this jab mass produced and mass distributed, just like we're experiencing right now. And she asked him, what are you really covering up?
What is it? You got people lining up like this is smallpox or something.
Wow.
People lining up like this is smallpox or something.
And that's exactly what's going on right now. Why are they having people lined up all around the planet? Why?
The agenda for today's G8 summit was the growing concern of the medical community over the...
Look at the lines, you guys. You guys remember the lines? Do you remember the lines? Take the step. Here are the signs. It says take the step. TTS. Take the step. Keep watching.
Escalating cases of this mysterious flu virus.
This will help you sleep.
A mysterious flu virus. And here they are on a plane. As soon as they identify people that... now, this is interesting because they identify this woman on a plane who is not yet infected, and they put her to sleep on the plane, right? Because they know that as soon as she falls asleep, she'll be infected. But, you know, it's interesting because planes have closed air systems. So they can even get into a closed air system of an airplane.
Have a place for you to lie
Carol.
So here she's walking, Nicole Kidman's walking through the line of people taking the step.
Are you here for your shot?
Are you here for your shot? Are you here for your shot?
I have
your shot.
Be a good patriot and take your Jabberwocky.
Are you here for your shot?
I had mine last night.
So obviously Nicole Kidman has to pretend that she has no emotion, right?
I'm glad to hear that.
There she is running through, and it says take the step. It's a campaign. Now we're going to get into this take the step ad campaign, and this is going to melt your mind because it's going to sink in for a lot of people who are still on the fence about what all this is, because there's a medical term, a brain protein called STEP. Take the step. Now, after this montage, I did a second montage that we'll get into after this one that documents the take the shot or take the step ad campaign and shows you how this very campaign is also happening right now. Take the step. Okay, hold on. Let's mute the music there. Wow. Running through the streets. She's trying to warn everybody and nobody is listening. Kind of feels like what we tried to do, right? What is this? Every time I watch these, I see more details. Okay, let's see here. Let's mute that. Running through. Okay, what does they say here? There's more to this, you guys. We've barely scratched the surface. It gets more exact.
What are you really inoculating them for, Tucker? Huh? Tell me.
Tucker. Wow.
Open the goddamn door!
So they're all in her house now. They're like, you're gonna get this.
Open the door.
Doesn't hurt.
Doesn't hurt.
Watch. It's just like catching a cold.
It's just like catching a cold. Wow. And so there's no escape at this point because everybody's turned against you. Look at this. Even the twin washer and dryer. See, everything's about the twinning because that's what it is. They inhabit your host body. he's trying to vomit in her face to transform her. So he vomits in her face to try to infect her, and at this point, she can't fall asleep anymore. Now, chances are, whatever it is they're doing to us is already in the environment. And if you fall asleep, spiritually, it will overtake you.
Fort Detrick went into lockdown mode this afternoon.
Wow, Fort Detrick went into lockdown mode this afternoon.
Running some simulations now. The numbers they're estimating are incredible. It transmits like a virus.
It transmits like a virus or a bacterium.
Virus or bacterium through exchange of fluids, a kiss, an injection. Bacterium.
Now they're talking about this new kissing bug disease. Pretty creepy, you guys.
Through exchange.
Now this guy, later in his career, plays a clone. Is it sinking in yet? In the series Westworld, he plays a clone, an android, converted from a human.
Fluids, a kiss, an injection.
All units, please be aware. Inoculations have begun.
So this is the National Guard, and of course they're in charge of making this happen in the film, and they're in charge of it now. Wow. Those who believe in the pure blood of Jesus Adam are immune. Listen to this next part.
Her sister gave her the chicken pox.
Well, it might not be a normal encephalitis. There's acute disseminated encephalomyelitis, which is ADEM.
Acute. Let's see here. Now, the only people immune to this alien plague in the film are people who have ADEM, ADEM, which is a type of pre-exposure, an encephalitis that causes brain swelling. And I believe what they're really saying here is that those who are saved by Jesus, Yeshua, the blood of the Lamb, the Adamic bloodline, the pure blood gene, those are the ones that will be saved and immune.
The reason why the virus hasn't been able to attack the system.
3 years ago, Oliver got the chicken pox.
So they compare it to getting the chicken pox and then being immune to it, right?
He'd had his shots, but they told me it was a new strain, and in the middle of it, he had these horrible fever dreams. He thought he might be.
Ollie, I think, is the name of the boy. She says, do you think Ollie might be immune? It's a possibility.
She had ADEM as a child.
Ah, substantia alba, interesting.
What I'm thinking.
Now, I don't even know if ADEM, the encephalitis, is a real thing. It sounds like it is, probably. But they use these acronyms. The acronyms, there's always meaning in the acronyms, isn't there? Always.
Is that if she's immune,
maybe we have causality.
There she is in the mirror, the man in the mirror, the doubling, the twin, the mirror image. Let's turn the sound off on here. Whoa, call. What the? Wait. What? Is that star 66? That's twinning. Now, if you don't know the 66 connection, I understand if you're new to the channel. But we've dove very deep into the 66 connection, and it's all links to Trump, his 66th floor penthouse, him winning the election 66 years after 1958, the second time, and him being a Gemini, which is twin numbers. There's also 66 in his birthday code. There's something to this, you guys. Turn off the music here. Gosh, I forgot that we found all this. This is insane. Let's keep watching. Unbelievable. Star 66. And there's 6 photos here. So that's 666. And this is how you report people that have not been converted yet. Does this ring a bell? 66th floor penthouse, the originator of the VCs himself. The Trump card, the Joker, Batman, all wrapped in one. Started this whole thing. As she's standing in the mirror. And in the mirror, remember? The enemy will bring peace by turning humanity into emotionless clones. Whoa, the peace accord. And what this vaccine does is it causes people to lose emotion. And what this does is it brings about world peace. Whoa, 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 whoa. Federal Hill, Fells Point, that's FF. That's another 6-6. F is the sixth letter of the alphabet. That wasn't an accident. Whoa.
Federal Hill, Fells Point, City Center.
The enemy will bring peace by turning humanity into emotionless clones.
Yes, that's right.
Whoa. Look at the eggs. There are the 3 eggs. Those represent the Russian dolls or clones. Pharmaceutical companies have agreed to start issuing free AIDS vaccine VCs to all afflicted third world countries effective immediately. The $400 billion program would be the largest fiscal spending since that word. That said, since the Iraqi war.
If I fall asleep, I'm going to need you to give me a shot.
Now, I feel like that is really tantamount to the stimulus bill that we are all getting right now. Now, this part's crazy because she gets this epinephrine, which we know degrades into the word that shall not be named. Adrenochrome. Chrome from adreno. And she asked the boy to inject this into her heart if she falls asleep because she does not want to be. Now, that is a fact out of the package insert of the EpiPen. You can look it up online. It's literally in the package insert. And it literally says that the EpiPen degrades into adrenochrome. It literally says that when it's exposed to sunlight and it turns pink, which is the color of adrenochrome. Let's keep watching her. Converted.
Put it here in my heart, Mr. Fletcher. I know it seems scary, but...
So she tells him that that's supposed to wake her up if she falls asleep.
What about Ollie?
There's no room in our world for someone who is immune.
And there's no... Wow. Natural immunity is not allowed. No room in their world for anyone with natural immunity, right?
What about Ollie?
There's no room in our world for someone who is immune.
And there's no room for someone in their world who is immune, which would be Adam. People that had Adam, right? There's no room for us in this world. And that's what Jesus told us. You're no part of this world. If you're trying so hard to be part of this world in this race and then make a bunch of money and be cool, there's no place for us in this world because you have to get the Jabberwocky in order to be that now, right? And so many people are giving in because they want to love this world. They're like Lot's wife running back to Sodom and Gomorrah.
There's no room in our world for someone who is immune.
Every means available to spread the vaccine.
Whoa. Survivors are using every means to spread the vaccine. Wait, what is this?
To as many people as possible.
So they spread this by helicopter. We saw this. We saw that in the first CARES Act, they were actually, there's a study on how to distribute, like, what was it? How to distribute food and things like that. Food delivery with drones. This was actually in the CARES Act. What do you think they're really going to deliver? Not food.
There's no room in our world for someone who is immune.
Every means available to spread the vaccine.
Unbelievable. Now, does anyone recognize those flags? I think we identified those before when we looked at this. Now, someone mentioned this flag. I don't know what this flag is, but I think this is South Africa. Wait, what? Elon Musk?
Many people as possible.
Several scientists are reporting that identifying the immunity gene is the first step in creating a viable cure to the pandemic.
They call it a pandemic. They call it an immunity gene. The first step in creating a cure for the pandemic. Whoa.
Food and water supplies.
Pockets of the immune began to grow across the country rapidly, retaking control of major cities and leading...
Pockets of the immune. On the anniversary of the Space Shuttle Patriot disaster. And here they show the Washington Monument.
Scientists convened in Washington today to update the president on the continued effort to eradicate the global pandemic. They literally call it the pandemic. Wow, unbelievable.
It's so easy to cure. The alien virus seems to have no real defense system. Once we ask,
the alien virus has no real defense system.
the vaccine result was inevitable.
And this was to subliminally give you confidence that once they have the VC, it's 99% effective, right? Or 95%. There's no natural immunity. This is to make you just go get it, right? Especially after you watch a film like this.
What we believe is that the way the entity plugged itself into our brain was so different from how we're actually wired that
the entity plugged itself into our brain and began to affect people's minds.
The mind interpreted the alien experience as a form of unconsciousness. Those have been cured.
And then when they were infected, they went unconscious, is what he's saying here. Which explains why the cure have no recollection of recent events.
No recollection of recent events. They experienced everything as though they were asleep.
Does this mean it's over?
Spiritually sleep. The forgetting. The amnesia. Is this all starting to sink in yet? It's like everybody forgot what happened during this era of human history.
The alien virus, has it been eradicated?
Inoculation centers throughout the globe are experiencing high levels of success in...
So now, what they're talking about here, I believe, is to undo what the aliens did, I think is the context of what he's talking about here. Let's keep watching.
Curing and immunizing their population.
So, let's get into this second trailer. Now, this is crazy because the Take the Step ad campaign that you saw is happening right now. Let me make sure we're connected first. All right, everybody seems to... I'm going to mute the sound on this. Now, this is the actual closing credits of the film, and they literally show the corona. I hope you're awake. Unbelievable. Credits in the film. And as you see, that is a corona, is it not? That's what they're depicting here. And that word is the word that they named the spamdemic that's happening right now. You guys, this was 2007. This came out. And they were already pre-programming us for this. So how did they know, right? Gosh, I wish I wouldn't have put these soundtracks, some of my decodes, because they come after the channel. So there it is.
Carol, are you here for your shot?
Are you here for your shot? Are you here for your shot?
I had mine last night.
I already covered that part. Let's keep watching.
I'm glad to hear that.
Express our faith and gather to worship. COVID-19 has changed how we express our faith and gather to worship.
Now, what are you looking at here? This is actually a clip from a very real and current ad campaign. And it's all about taking the step, just like in the film. And it's targeting black folks, saying if you want to go back to church and worship, you got to take the first step.
Try to calm down. You can fool.
We all want to get back to how we pray, how we congregate.
You're sweating. They don't.
Now it's time to take the first step. It's time to take the first step that lets us get back to spreading the word without spreading concern.
That's the first step. That's the first step. That's the first step.
Now, of course, that is Bo Mama. And here's the problem with this picture, because he got together with all of the presidents that he swore to hate or hated him, got us all angry at each other. You guys, I was in Arkansas several months ago, and the people there still believe that all these presidents are different, or some of the people there believed. I heard a couple comments from some people I ran into. They said when Obama was president, those were really hard years. Well, doesn't that make you upset that he's hanging out with Bush and Clinton after they made us all hate each other? There's something wrong with that. There was no kumbaya moment where they all got together and say, hey, let's try to like knock this off. And moving forward, let's talk to the other presidents and let's stop all this infighting, red versus blue. No, because if there was, we wouldn't have had what happened with Trump. But yet here we are, and they just act like history didn't happen. They just act like Obama didn't hate Bush and Bush didn't hate Obama, because they don't really hate each other. It's a game to make you feel like you want to hate your brother and sister. You see? You see the problem here? And so they're all coming together in a bipartisan effort to make you go get your Jabberwocky. There's something wrong with that. There's something wrong with that. Now, some people try to spin this as a positive and go, that's a good thing that they're all getting back together. Well, what is the use that they're all getting back together if it hasn't brought peace between the right and the left? They're pushing the divide on purpose. They're only getting together here and showing their true colors so that they can, it's a last ditch effort to get as many people as they can to get the Jabberwocky. This is crazy.
To ending the pandemic and moving our country forward.
Now it's time to take the first step. Before we can safely come together, we need the facts.
Here's another ad campaign. One more step to no more CV-19. A separate ad campaign. This one. Unbelievable. Las Vegas Review Journal. Take the next step. Again, targeted at black folks. Is in Nevada. Again, targeting black folks. Wow. Take the step. Let's mute this soundtrack. So there she is on, I guess, the train. There's another Take the Step. The film Take the Step. Now, for those of you that are still tuned in, your mind's going to be blown away here in a second. Walking through the train there.
Now it's time to take the first step.
That's the first step.
As COVID-19 vaccines become available, you may have questions.
It's everywhere.
You're sweating. Then they can't tell who's who.
I'm fast forwarding you guys, sorry. Well, it's an acronym. Now, what is the STEP? Well, it's an acronym for striatal enriched protein tyrosine phosphatase. That is STEP. And for short, they call it PTPN5, as you see on your screen here. Now, what does this do? Let's read about it. STEP levels are disrupted in several diseases. Alzheimer's was the first illness to be associated with elevated STEP expression. And also Fragile X syndrome, schizophrenia, and Parkinson's all are associated with elevated STEP. Well, what happens when you take away the STEP expression? What happens when you block it? You get zombie-like, emotionless, mind wipe symptoms. Huntington's, alcohol. Now, I'll put a link to this decode for those of you that want to finish this. This was a long show today. I don't think there's much left after this, but essentially it's zombie-like symptoms, emotionless state when you take the step, which is exactly what happens to the people in the movie. They turn emotionless, so we're on to something there. Let me go into the chat. Good morning, everybody. What we just watched was from the movie The Invasion. Reason why I had to pause so much was because of how YouTube does not want you to see this decode. It came under immediate attack. and was blocked worldwide. So now it's not blocked because I had to keep pausing it to get around the algorithms and complain to YouTube about that. I have nothing to do with that. All right, I'm in the chat. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about before we get off of here? We will be back tomorrow. I'm going to give you guys a monologue on what is shaping up to be limits on free speech, limits that allow for only approved political commentary, because any political commentary can actually drive people to violence. So pretty soon it's going to be about puppy dogs and kittens and balloons and bubblegum. Will be the only things we can debate about. Can you imagine that happened under a Republican president? Well, it's because they're all on the same side, if you hadn't figured that out by now. All right. How many of you had already seen that decode when it aired originally, or you saw the re-upload on the backup channel? But I think today's decode actually gave it much more information. We found new things. So thanks for tuning in. Can you decode Bird Box again? I can re-upload that decode. I don't think there's any new information. I can double check, but we do have Bird Box decoded, I think, on this channel. So I can re-upload that or something. So I'm going to write that down in my notes so that I don't forget to do that. Bird Box. Okay. They're calling it they will call it the Charlie Kirk Act, or is there a Charlie Kirk Act? Private planes don't pay fuel taxes. Wow, yeah, the rich have different rules than we do, don't they? Just like RoboCop, says Anna Starr. Okay. Now, if you hadn't figured it out, a lot of new information has come out. Well, I'll leave that up to you guys. You guys, I have a freaking rabid squirrel running around in circles, literally outside my window, like he's mind controlled or something. I should take video of this because squirrels don't typically act like this. He's literally running back and forth in circles right outside my window. We're entering strange times, you guys. We're entering strange times. Yeah, I got to get video of this. Unbelievable. He's literally, it's like a crazy squirrel. They don't normally do this. All right. Wow. They're already covering up the site where the Kirk event happened. Yeah, they went in there pretty quick, right? You would think, you know, the way everybody's talking about this, that this would be hallowed ground and it would all be cordoned off and they would, spray like, I don't know, like make it and turn it into a monument, put like a barricade around it so people can come and bring flowers and all this. And it would like just stay there forever, right? But no, eliminating everything. Okay. Yeah, I was going to talk about, you got to be careful now because now if you say anything about his wife, that could be the linchpin that could actually bring a channel down. So I'm not even going to talk about her, but you guys know, you have seen all the stuff. You've seen it. Chronic wasting in deer is one county from me now. It's Pulaski, Kentucky. Yep. I've got it one county away from me as well. So yeah, you'd think that they would make the shrine the place where it actually happened, but none of that happened. People can't even, bring flowers over there. It's all been removed. It's just insane. Yeah, and I know a lot of you still believe it didn't happen, and I respect your belief about that. I disagree, but, this is a free speech zone. The last thing we need to do is start telling each other how to think, right? So, West Africa cutting off resources to France is bankrupting France. They want us to fear the deer. Yes. Kozak, name, meaning, and crest. I don't know what that is, sorry. Yes, she was in the Trump beauty pageant. So weird. It's almost like she was put in his life. He might not have even known it, or maybe he did. Who knows? These people, I mean, it's you guys. There's millions of people in America. How is it that both Kirk's wife and his father knew Donald Trump? Obviously, she met Donald Trump way back in 2012, long before he became president, when he was in her beauty pageant. Trump probably went up and met every single one of the beauty pageant. I don't know if she won. She might have even won the pageant. Did she win the pageant? I don't know. Yes, the cops that got taken out in Pennsylvania. Really weird. A lot of stuff happened. I don't tend to cover the scrutings too much anymore. I feel like they want us to do that. Okay. Yeah, she was on a dating show too. Wow. Yeah, there's a whole IMDb page and all this. They covered the grass with pavers. Wow. Yeah. You know, shouldn't the autopsy have given us the actual bullet? Where's the bullet? Where's the bullet? Where's the exit wound? A 30-06 makes a huge exit wound. It's not going to get lodged in the body like a 22 round. Doesn't happen. Goes right through. So many questions. So many questions. And, you know, the deception is already afoot. I'm starting to keep track of Candace Owens. I know that she's not being forthcoming with a lot of information. The one narrative, though, that she does believe that I kind of align with is that Israel had something to do with it. But she's also mixing that with, she said she'll do whatever Kirk's wife tells her to do. Well, eventually, they could tell her to shut up, right? They could tell Candace Owens to shut up, and it sounds to me like she'll give in to that. So that's weird. Like, she's not asking any tough questions about the wife, is all I'm saying. And that's very suspect to me. She's not talking about the Donald Trump connections to the wife. Like, there's more to this story than Candace Owens is even saying. And then you have to wonder, she's got a call out to anyone who has footage or seen evidence, and she says that we can trust her to tell us the truth, right? Well, I always wonder about that. When you get a person with millions and millions of followers asking people to come forward to show us their evidence, are they really going to show the world? Right? What if they see something that doesn't align with the pressure that's being put under them to hide the truth? So, and what if the people that come forward with the evidence get unalived and then you just never hear about them? So, just weird. Wow, now they're saying she's pregnant? Again, Ohio peasant. I said I've started to keep track of her. And this is the division part, right? And I just got done telling you she was controlled opposition and not telling us the whole truth. And so you got to watch these people to see what they're up to. And I just told you I wouldn't feel so safe coming forward to her with footage to trust that she was going to share it with the world. And I told you the inconsistencies in her messaging. So for the same reason I decode a film is the same reason why I'm seeing what she's saying over there. Okay. Yeah, I believe it's a trap, a honey trap. This is what they do. They give you part of the truth and then they trap you and then eliminate. So you got to be careful. So all right. All right, you guys, I'm going to pop off of here. I love each and every one of you. And we'll be back tomorrow with talking about the new free speech, which isn't so free. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Much love.